and welcome back to Unapologetically Wild with me, Katie Sontag. Today, we are going to talk all things negative talk. Now, the reason I bring this up, because this has been so prevalent, not only in my life, but also in so many of my clients and so recently with the people around me. And it's such a big thing. And I don't always talk into negative mind and the subconscious and the conscious and how this all works. However, of course, it's so relevant right now. And so many people I've seen are so stuck in this negative loop. Now, I want to talk about this because it's also part of my journey, of course, because, we all get to experience it and then I get to teach it, which I love that about this. And I want to take you back to when I was a lot younger, when I first joined the army, when I used to play basketball. People used to say to me when I was on the court that they could literally see me thinking. Like, that's how intense my thoughts were. And they were so negative. If I missed a shot, right? So if I'm going up, lay up, or I turn, I'm at the block, fake, go left, go up, right? And I miss that shot. The thoughts that came up in my mind were, you are the worst, you can't do this, you suck, how did you miss that shot? It was so easy, all of these things, like you're not good enough, why are you even on the court? Who even chose you to be on the team, right? So you can imagine, if you're thinking all of those thoughts, what do you think happens next time I get the ball to take the shot? I miss. Now, the thing with that is, even if I make one of the shots in the 20 I take, let's say, it doesn't matter. My brain is not going to latch on to that one made shot. It'll constantly keep telling me the story that I'm not good enough. And the other point to that is I stop taking the shot. Because what's the point? I may as well pass to someone else who's going to get it in, right? And this is so applicable to life in general. Like, it's so amazing how an analogy that me as a kid, right, this was the game that I played, basketball. I loved it. I even went against people who wanted me to keep swimming, and I chose to play basketball when those people wouldn't support me. And that was a really big deal because I was the perfect kid. I did what I was meant to. I always followed the rules. It was probably one of my first rebellious moments where I was like, no, I want to play basketball. Like, I don't want to swim and I want to play basketball, right? And so it was pivotal for me. One of the pivotal moments of my life where I finally chose me. But the problem was I had such terrible negative thoughts from my whole childhood, from everything, right? And I had lived in that reality. I'd lived in those environments where that was normal, and it was my subconscious programming to be negative all the time. And no matter how many people told me I was good at something, no matter how many times someone would say, like, good job, or like, I would reminisce on the worst, like on everything I fucked up. And this then went into my career, of course, right? Because it doesn't just go with one thing, it goes into the next thing. And until you fix it, and I say fix loosely, I don't mean that you're broken, but I mean until you acknowledge it first with awareness, and then you shift your subconscious programming and make it conscious by being aware, and then you shift it so that you're no longer controlled by your subconscious programming because now it's conscious and now you choose differently, right? We're going to get into a bit more of that later and I'll explain that. However, then it goes into my career because then when I am doing my first lesson, I was I was very new to the army and I wanted to go on this course to be a fitness leader, combat fitness leader. And it was wild because it was how I was going to become a PTI, so like a physical training instructor in the army, right? It was one of the steps to get there. Anyway, I'm on this course quite early in my career. I'd only got in 2012. I got on this course in 2013. I hadn't done any promotion courses. So it was my first exposure to being an instructor. Now, it was so interesting because I'd wanted this so bad. I'd like gone and proved myself, and I finally got on this course and I was running a lesson. I get out there. The lesson was like, in the grand scheme of life, if I think back now, the lesson was good. Like, and I got good feedback. I also got lots of feedback to help me be better because let's be real, when you're learning something, you need that so you can get better, right? Like you need someone to tell you what you're not doing well. So it wasn't like, it's a great lesson. It was like a good or satisfactory, right? Which is still quite good when the option is failing. And also, I was brand new to the army and not used to being an instructor and out in front of people, let alone teaching a fitness lesson. Like it just, yeah. Anywho, even though I'd been a leader before, it's different when you put it in a different context. Like now I can rationalize and like be with it, right? But back then I would never have said any of these things, which actually makes me laugh saying them to you now. And I was doing this lesson. I obviously got feedback and I didn't do great. Like it was like I didn't do bad, but I didn't do great. And in my head, that meant I failed, right? So I'd already said I'd failed because I knew as I was taking the lesson, I'd already critiqued myself. I'm already on top of everything I fuck up, right? As soon as it happens. Not like upon reflection, like as soon as it actually happens, I'm like, bang, I've picked it up. Bang, that's worse. Then I get worse, right? Because I'm on this thing where I'm picking up this constant thing that I'm fucking up. So I'm constantly telling myself that I'm fucking it up and it's not good enough. And I'm, you know what I mean? And we're going down a rabbit hole, right? We're going right down this rabbit hole. And I then decide to get upset. Because here's the thing, I made it about me and made it that it meant something about me, that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't worthy. Because underneath all of that is the core wounds that we have, right? So when you look under all your stories, all the things you tell yourself, all your negative thoughts, there's something deeper underneath it. And this is what I do with my clients. We like to find out what is that deeper root problem so we can actually be with the root problem and allow ourselves to be aware of it and actually change the narrative so that we're no longer having all these thoughts and we're not attaching our emotions to them and making it mean something about us. Me not doing well on a class, it doesn't mean anything about me. I can say that now, but back then that was not what I believed. So I believed it meant that I was a terrible instructor, shouldn't do this, all the things. Why did I even bother getting on the course, right? Like you can imagine the rabbit hole I'm going down. I'm crying and I'm having a full emotional reaction. And I didn't know how to regulate it. Like I didn't know what I was, I didn't even know I was in it. And so it wasn't until I remember him, he was one of my leads. So I think at the time I'm not sure what rank he was, but pretty sure he was a woe, but he was the leader of our team. So we had like a little group and we would have like a team leader and he was ours. And I remember he got me, like literally sat across from me and was like, you can't take this to heart this much. He's like, if you let this be big like this, it's going to consume you. And if you put this much pressure on a formative assessment, and as the army will know, that's like not even a summative where you can, if you fail, you fail. Like you generally fail and you have to do a reassessment. This is like the practice beforehand, right? The practice assessment. Because you get to do it formatively and then they give you another lesson for a summative assessment. And so it's like, if you're putting this much pressure on yourself now, he's like, you won't make it through life. It's not worth it. Nothing right now is worth it. And at the time, I didn't understand, but he had some things going on in his life that were huge. And he was coming from this beautiful place of being like, there are bigger things going on. And if you have this much pressure on yourself and you are this down on yourself about this, imagine like He was like, I can't imagine where your brain would go if something really bad, like if you failed something, like desperately bad. And I was like, at the time, I didn't quite understand. Like, I was like, what do you mean? Like, this is all I want. Like, it consumes me to be the best, to be perfect. Otherwise, I'm not loved and I'm not worthy. And like all the deep wounds come up, right? So it's not really about the assessment. And this is what I want to make very clear, is a lot of the time when we get in these cycles of negative self-talk, at our subconscious programming that we have lived either through our environment, through people around us, through what we've learned through our experience, that is all starting to bring up all these stories so that one, our brain keeps us safe, and two, so that we know the outcome. And what happens is a lot of people feel really comfortable sitting in this uncomfortable loop, right? Because they don't realize that they're in it. And I didn't. Like, this is the truth. I had no idea. Like, even him bringing it to me gave me awareness, which I knew I was hard on myself, but not to the extent. And it took me a long time after that to actually really pinpoint the problem when I did neuro-linguistic programming. And this is why I fucking love using it with my clients, because it is the thing that moved me from being in that with all those negative thoughts and being so hard on myself to allowing the fact that those thoughts will still come up. Like, I still have those moments where, you know, something might go wrong and I might have negative thoughts. That doesn't mean they're gone. I have a lot less of them and they're a lot less intense, and they don't eat at my soul or go to my core wound and make me very upset, and they don't cause me to freeze and not move on. And here's the other thing. So I remember being told this quote, and I fucking love it, right? Like, I forgot, just like gets me excited. Where, you know, when you take a shot in a game, in a basketball game, and they're like, I don't actually even know if it was in a basketball context, but of course I put it in one. Take a shot, forget about it. You should not remember that shot the next time you come down the floor. You shouldn't even remember it when you're going on defense. Take the shot, move on. And I remember people talking about that, being like, you know, because I guess the other quote to that, or that can assist that, is you miss every shot you don't take, right? So if I then get to the point where in a game I'm talking myself out of taking the shot, I'm still going to miss it. It's the same result, right? If I take it, I miss it because I've told myself that I'm not good enough and I can't make the shot. And if I don't take it, I still miss it. See what I'm getting at here? And a lot of people in life are so held back by their subconscious programming that's running the show. And even if you become aware of it, that is the first step, and that is great to be aware of it. You then need to learn how or interrupt the pattern. Now, you can absolutely learn this yourself, but you have to be very on top of it. The way that it helped me was I went and got a coach who then actually did neuro-linguistic programming on me. So we did things like timeline therapy, where with that, you know, you go back in time to the actual thing. So it might be, you know, past, present, future, all of the pieces. It could be past lives, all of that. You go to that timeline, see what it is, see the event, go into the event, go out of the event, and you see the lessons, the positive lessons, right? Because obviously there's a lot of negative things we're taking it from, but what are the positive lessons we get to learn from it? And you actually get to see that event in a different light. And, you know, there's other things like stacking. Like, I love when you can, like, you know, stack positive things instead of negative things, and you actually go into the brain and reprogram it so that the subconscious is no longer ruling your conscious mind, right? You're conscious of it, and then you actually get to change the narrative through changing your subconscious programming. And it's so wild because now if I look back, yeah, of course I have negative thoughts. Of course that happens. I mean, I'm only human. But one, I don't have, like I said, any emotion attached to them. Two, I can be way more logical about it. And three, I can let it go because I choose differently. Because I feel it come up and I go, oh, no, don't want that. That doesn't mean anything. It means nothing about me, and I'm not going to catastrophize it. And we don't go down the rabbit hole ever. And so here's the thing. What I love about this is that also you can use hypnosis. I love fucking hypnosis. I'm like a little bit obsessed with hypnotizing myself and then getting into the subconscious mind and then changing it. Because I'm like, how better to actually honor yourself to no longer live that old story that actually is probably not yours. Let's be real. If you think back of that story, it's attached to someone else. Sometimes it's your mom, sometimes it's your dad, sometimes it's another family member, right? And so once you let it go and you no longer let it live in your subconscious and you actually don't choose it, you then lead a totally different life. It shifts everything. Because I can guarantee you now, if I had that mindset right now, I would never have left the army. I would never have my own business because I would catastrophize the whole thing. When I first started my business, because it was different, right? Because it wasn't something I had actually used the skill in well, and I hadn't even done neuro-linguistic programming there, I catastrophized the shit out of it. A launch wasn't perfect. Oh my God, catastrophe. I would have all the negative thoughts, right? My poor first coach. I've talked about this, I think, on the podcast before. Like, had to help me out of it. And then, but it was great because then we could do the reprogramming, so I didn't keep living it. The funny thing I find is a lot of time people say to me, you know, oh, I don't have money right now, or, oh, you know, I want to fix it, but I'm going to fix it myself. I'm going to be really brutally honest with you. You can't see your patterns and you can't change them. Always. I wish that I could say I could see my patterns every day and I always change them. Yes, there are ways you can. Like you can pattern interrupt, you can do all those things. But if you don't know how to do that and no one's ever shown you and you haven't actually gone through the process of learning what that means, because I can say to you right now, go on pattern interrupt. I can say, go clap your hands next time you have all these thoughts, and you may do it, but you haven't trained it. It's like me getting on a basketball court and I've never actually dribbled a ball before and then I'm meant to be a pro athlete. It's ridiculous. You have to constantly go through these times where the best thing about having a coach or a psych or whatever whoever you go to is that they teach you and they keep you accountable and they train you so that you then can start to do it yourself, but it's always more effective than someone else because they get to actually keep you in it and actually help you move the needle quicker too. Because here's the thing, the reason I hire coaches is because they've done what I want to do and I want to get there quicker and they know how. And they can actually take me through it. They have the tools to do that. And so this is why I love neuro-linguistic programming, because I'm like, I don't want you to keep living your subconscious thoughts that keep putting you in the same position where you keep living the same life, where you keep getting so stuck or so overwhelmed or so anxious or so depressed that you can't keep moving. And I can give you examples from my day-to-day life right now. This morning, you would laugh, got up and I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't done anything. Oh, I'm so exhausted. I don't know what I'm going to get done today. Hold the phone, right? Because then I'm like, oh, maybe I'll just do one step at a time. Now, old me would have catastrophized the shit out of that and I would have sat on the couch for days. New me is like, okay, what's the first step I can take? So I'm like, cool. I sit there and I go, coffee would be great. I make a coffee. Awesome. What else do I want to get done today? Write down a list. Okay, I'm happy if I get 2 things done. Because here's the other thing. If you start to achieve the things you put down, 1 thing, 2 things, make breakfast, get dressed, wash my hair. Today I sent off, connections for speaking gigs and filled in a form for a speaking gig and then, replied to some friends and got on the podcast, put up a podcast reel, started making other reels. Like yesterday, I literally mailed my book to someone. Like it was wild, like signed copy of my book, which is wild. I co-authored with a couple of other women, which is amazing, right? So here's the thing. You have to start looking at the beautiful things that are happening. And I'm even always having to recorrect myself in that because I'm so good at looking at the negatives. It's crazy. It's like I've trained myself to do that or something. And, but I'm like, cool, pick myself up and be like, oh, positive. Oh, we moved 1 step closer. Oh, we moved another step closer. Now, that means I got shit tons done today. Like actually in the grand scheme of life, I'm fucking proud of my day. And so that wouldn't have happened if I didn't know how to break it down, stop my thoughts and be like, okay, we know what this means. We've done this before. Let's just make it easy. and not make it overwhelming and not make it anxiety producing. And so for a little while, I sat in front of my altar today for like good 40 minutes, breathing, journaling, pulling cards, because I fucking love pulling cards, and just being. And that was productive. That got me out of my funk. That got me ready to go. All of these little things, right? But these practices are rituals I have done for a long time. They're part of my holistic reset ritual. If you don't have that, I have a free holistic reset ritual. Absolutely go check it out. It's in my link tree, or send me a DM and I'll send it to you completely free. And it's the things that I do to get out of my funk, to honor myself, to slow myself down, to get myself back in my body, out of my head. Because here's the thing. A lot of the time with people that have all these negative thoughts, which is all of us, it's when we're so stuck in our head. And that's the masculine, right? The logic, all of that. The feminine is in our body. It's why we produce a baby in our body, right? Like, I know produce is probably not the right word, but we grow and we have a baby in our creative center. So when we're in our bodies, it's a totally different scenario. We're creative, we flow, we have all these beautiful thoughts come in, and we don't think badly of ourselves because we're so in our body. When we're in our head, we're trying to masculinely control things and, make things make sense and work it out. And that's when we're going to start going down the rabbit holes of letting our subconscious programming control us. And here's the thing. When your subconscious has something, it connects to your body, right? So if you've been taught that negative thoughts are a thing and you are the worst person and, not worthy or not lovable, whatever that is, whatever your root cause of your belief is, because it always comes down to a root cause, then you're then going to have a reaction in the body. So as soon as your brain starts thinking these negative thoughts, it's going to connect to your nervous system and your body's going to have a reaction. Some people, that's anxiety. So they get short of breath. Some people, they get so nervous their mind goes blank. Sometimes it's like this uncontrollable breathing. Sometimes it's like, oh my God, what am I doing? And it can get worse. Then you start saying the negative thoughts out loud. Because here's another really good step. If you can start to be aware of the negative thoughts you say out loud and catch them and stop them, that's a really good start. Because if you then stop saying them out loud, you'll stop reaffirming them, and your body's like listening and being like, oh, this is how we feel when this happens. This is what we do when this happens, right? It is a learnt thing from a behavior that you have learnt through your life. And so when you say the negative words out loud, you're reaffirming them to your body, so your body keeps reacting to the subconscious mind, and you go through this cycle, and it becomes worse and worse and worse the more you go down the rabbit hole. The more you do it, the more you reinforce it in your body and in your mind that this is exactly what happens when you're going through a scenario where your brain decides to go into negative thoughts. So we want to break the pattern, right? And that's what I do. I help you break that pattern. When you are ready for this, if this is something that you're like, fuck, I don't want to keep having these patterns in my life and I actually want to break them, message me because I'll help you do that. Because here's the thing. We can do things on our own, but it takes 10 times longer to do it. How do I know this? Because I tried. For years, I would try and go and see people to talk about this stuff, and then I went and did neuro-linguistic programming, and literally patterns will go on like that. Something that took me 10 years to even know that I was doing took me a couple of sessions to fix it. It's actually insane. And so what that also helps with, because there's another piece here. So now, interesting, when people this has been coming up in my face a lot recently in the most beautiful way. I've had a lot of people who've known me for a really long time recognize how far I've grown. And that's such a gift when other people see it, especially that I've known you your whole life. And so a couple of friends have said, a friend and then, a family member have been like, your boundaries are insane. Watching you, it's been almost flawless watching you in this situation I'm going through at the moment, how you have been so strong and so definite about your boundaries in honoring your energy. Now, I'm not going to lie, it's been exhausting because holding boundaries can be. But the thing that changed was my negative thoughts were no longer there. I stopped people pleasing. I stopped caring what the fuck everyone else thought. Doesn't mean the thoughts didn't come up. Just means I don't act on them. I then come back and choose for me. what is right for me. Not having negative thoughts and have them control helps me make that decision. It helps me hold the boundary. It helps me honor my true energy, myself, what I need, no matter what is happening around me. And that is so amazing. Like, to even acknowledge that myself was pretty wild, because I'm not going to lie, I don't always see it. But to see it through other people's eyes who've known me for a bloody long time. And it was so interesting because they were like, we know that you've done the work, but it's really amazing to watch you put it in action. And it has helped me so much in business, because it has actually allowed me to, even today, when going through all this stuff, and it's been a lot and it's been exhausting, I woke up this morning, obviously had my moment, did my thing, and I was like, you have been focusing way too much on external shit. You need to come back to your business. Come back to what's going to be the things that are going to move the needle for where you want to go. Put your energy, right? Great reminder for me. Put my energy where I want it to flow and where I want to flourish. Feed the seed that I'm actually wanting to grow, not fucking another one that I don't even care about. Not true, I do care, but you get it. Where do I want to go? This way. So, beautiful reminder for myself, right? Because I get lost in it too. I get lost in sometimes being in these other environments and thinking that's the right place for me to be, because life does that. Sometimes I'm like, I need to deal with the lifeness, when I'm like, actually, I have capacity and space and freedom to actually go after what I want. And so we need to sometimes come into those moments where we're like, crap, where am I actually putting my energy right now? Where am I putting my focus? If it's not where I want to go, what am I doing? Boundaries help with that, but also not having these negative thoughts control my life helps me to move from that space where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a lot, and there's rest, and that's fine, to, okay, we have capacity for this. We're going to move the needle the way we want to move it. And of course, everything came in today because I finally put my energy in the place where it needs to be in alignment. And I forget too. I also have moments, but the thing about learning the fact that I know what my mind is thinking, I'm watching myself in real time, I'm setting boundaries to give myself capacity, and I'm actually being like, what do I want in this life and how do I want to move through it? And then I'm like this, so I move that way. Then everything comes in and everyone answers my emails and my messages, because that is in alignment with where I want to go and where I'm meant to be going. All this other stuff is fluff. And yeah, sometimes I've been stuck in the fluff. And there is that thing where my mind thought I had to be stuck in the fluff. And years ago, I would have stayed there and I would not have pulled myself out and gone after my dreams. But because of neuro-linguistic programming, because of the fact that I have not only the awareness, I can change the pattern, I know how to get myself out, I know how to actually start honoring my energy, my time and my space, and redirect where I want to go and how I want to get there. Who do I want to be when I get there? It changes everything. It honestly makes the difference it's made today is insane. All because I no longer hold on to all those thoughts based on a root cause that wasn't true. I just made it true by reinforcing it and giving it meaning and putting emotion to it. The meaning was the root cause of you're not lovable or you're not worthy or you're not enough. And now because I teach myself safety in my body, honoring who I am, and I love myself even deeper, I have more belief and I don't let any of that affect my life. Does it mean my life's perfect? No. Does it mean I still have moments? Yes. But not catastrophic moments. And that's the difference moving forward. I'm choosing the leader I want to be in my life every fucking day. And that is powerful. And if you're ready to choose how you lead your life in every aspect of your life, then come and join me in the Magnetic Leader, my 12-month mastermind. And I'll teach you how. Because it's a daily practice that we all get to move through. Imagine being supported in that every day, no matter what's happening. Having someone being like, I get it, and what are we going after? Let's reprioritize. Let's stay where we're meant to be going. And let's move through whatever emotions, whatever comes up in your brain, and let's rechange the narrative. If you got something out of this episode, I would love to hear all about it. Please put a comment, like, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss a single episode. And I would love if you could share this with someone who you think this would resonate with. You can share it on Instagram as well. I would love that. If you do, please tag at Unapologetically Wild with Katie. I would love to know what you receive from this. I love comments. I love to see how people have, what's resonated. And if you want to work with me, go and check me out at Katie Sontag, Katie_Sontag on Instagram, Facebook. I'm everywhere. Please reach out if you need help in this area. I actually have a winter offer right now, which is the emotional weight release offer. That is actually where we do 2 full-on 90-minute sessions of timeline therapy, really deep into that. And then I give you a personalized hypnosis that you can listen to that can keep reprogramming your brain. So if this feels like a fuck yes to you, please reach out. Put it in the show notes below. And yeah, I hope you have the most magical, magical day. And I hope that you catch yourself whenever you have a negative thought about yourself. And I'd love you to change it to something positive. Because you are amazing. You are the most incredible person, and the only person that can change that for you is you. So I want you to start believing in yourself and know that you have everything that it takes to get where you want to be. And you are so capable, you are so loved, you are enough, and you are worthy. And I hope that you take that in, really receive that, and that you have the most magical, magical day. I love you. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to being in your ears next time. Bye.